All right, we're live. Jacob from Rise Land Clearing Growth. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So we were talking before here. Let's just jump straight into it. What are people who are joining going to get out of this? We're talking about the one thing that helped you smash your previous barrier of 250K a month.
Absolutely. The short version it is focusing on your ideal client avatar only.
We're going to let these live streams get plugged in here. I'm seeing over here on my end that we're getting over to, looks like we're over on Facebook now. And we will get notified whenever we get to YouTube and to X.
YouTube.
Let's see if we're on. All right, looks like we are on to X. Everything's good. Okay, so for people who are just now joining, got a couple people joining from YouTube now. If you stick around in this live stream, you are going to learn about how to focus on your ideal avatar. And when Jacob did it, helped him get to 250K a month. So, where did you learn about this? Why is it important?
Yeah, great question. I've kind of, always got sprinkled on it from mentors and coach like, hey, you need to, be in an industry or be in the niche, but it was always more broad like home service or contractors or e-commerce, just pick your industry. And my first big unlock was focusing on the land clearing space specifically, but then more recently, really dialing in who our ideal avatar is and how many machines they have, what their revenue levels at, their actual mindset and experience as a business owner, their attitude. Like, do they have a good attitude about learning and growing, and really being picky about who we work with, and transitioning all of our messaging and marketing on the front end, sales, onboarding, fulfillment, everything is pointed to give the most value and resonate the most with a certain very specific ideal avatar. And I would recommend that anyone would do that. And that's what I have been learning more recently from people way ahead of me, bigger agencies, Hormozy, of course, yourself. Is the proof is in the pudding. When you focus on your ideal client avatar, it's better for you, but it's also better for your clients.
Did you just make up a new word?
What I say?
Was that clavatar?
Oh, did I put it all in one? Ideal client avatar, clavatar. I like that.
I think you just made up a new word. Like that's gonna go. We're gonna make that a thing on YouTube. Your ideal clavatar.
You should say that. Yeah. Let's
It
trademark
will
that.
probably be something that will go viral on TikTok.
We need to
I
trademark
love
that
it.
one.
Okay, let's talk your ideal clavatar. Who is your ideal clavatar?
So for
And how many machines did they run and how specific did you get recently?
for sure. So I've transitioned all my messaging to, like, most of the headlines are, hey, are you looking to buy your next machine? So ideally, minimum two machines, just because with the amount of work we know we can produce for somebody, one machine not only limits you, but then if that machine breaks down, you're really limited, right? So I would have to super qualify a guy with just one machine to be able to work with us. He would have to be basically ready to buy that next machine. So to answer your question more directly, really two machines or more is what we're looking for. And somebody who's actually looking to grow and do more in their company, somebody who already knows how to land jobs, already is doing jobs, and somebody who has a good reputation of some sort out there, and not a bad one.
And why did you get more specific? I'm curious as to, well, let's take it back. So you said you started by just defining land clearing operators as your ideal customer
Right.
avatar. And then what triggered you to want to focus to that minimum of 2 machines and or the qualifications that you just mentioned?
Two big things. One, I did a trial and error and failed, where I tried to have like a cheap package and just work with anyone who would say yes and could afford $600. And it was a lose-lose for me and for them. That some of those guys are still with us, but a lot of them are not, because at that point in your business, if that's all you can afford, you're not ready for a full online marketing campaign. And that's also not enough money to spend to get results that are worth, this relationship. So I went the wrong way and learned hard from that. But then also I took basically my top 25% of clients who are the most successful and have paid us the most. So they've made the most money and paid us the most money. So win-win for us and them. And I said, okay, what's the difference in these guys and how they came in to work with us and what they actually do differently? And I basically just modeled that into, okay, how do I get more of those?
It's so interesting. So you essentially just took who was paying you the most and who was probably also causing you the least headache, if I had to guess.
100%. Yep.
And then you started, man, I don't know why sharing this link to join up on stage too, again.
Oh no.
Hey, Kes, if you're watching this, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to start sharing the YouTube link here from now on. Hey, we're still figuring out this live stream deal and how to best promote it and how to best share the link with you guys. You can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@theownerop. So if you're watching this and if you are trying to join by whatever link that we shared, if you're not watching specifically on X, like on the platform, you can go to YouTube, and I'm going to do a share screen real quick. So just go to my channel, and it's this one right here. It's titled Best Month Ever because Jacob just smashed his best month ever. Crushed through 250K a month. Hats off to you. Congrats. And this is the link right here. So if you're having trouble joining anybody, just go to YouTube and watch this or click on this link. Okay, back to ideal customer profile. So you found some similarities between the top 25%.
Yep.
And you said, okay, these are a minimum of guys running 2 machines. What else? I'm really curious about this, actually. What else did you notice about your best clients? Like either habits that they do or like what are they doing in their marketing or sales process that sets them apart from other people?
For sure. That's a great question. Two big things for me is that they understand that digital marketing is not the only thing to get their business going and growing. They understand it is a very important tool in the toolbox, but they don't sit on the couch waiting for Facebook to save their business. They are out there hustling to get work, and everything that we get them is icing on the cake on top of that. And it helps build their trust and brand in their community. That's one huge thing to this day that really makes people better. But then also owning the sales process, whether they obviously top tier, they have some type of actual sales team in place, somebody to work the leads. And then if they don't, they own that. They answer every phone call. They call every single lead as soon as they humanly possibly can. They're answering messages at 7 at night on Saturday at 7 a.m. They're going to do estimates in person. One of my favorite clients, when I called and asked him, I'm like, hey, what are you doing to get so much more return on investment than the other guys that work with us? And the big thing he told me, he has it written down, a 72-hour booking machine, which I've taken that and ran with it and married it up with a lot of the playbooks from Hormozy to create a document called the 72-hour booking machine. But basically, he has an SOP within his business that all leads get contacted within 5 minutes, phone call within 24 hours, estimate booked within 48 hours, and they're receiving an estimate within 72 hours. Every single lead, no matter what, unless obviously they just cannot get a hold of the person. That those two things are definitely the biggest differences.
So speed to lead, speed to site visit, speed to quote.
Yep.
Does he have, or do your best guys send quotes via Jobber, via email? Here's the reason I'm asking this question, because I was listening to a Hormozy video last night with the concrete guy, and I was doing it right before I fell asleep, and I actually fell asleep. And so I don't know the answer, and I don't know what he recommended, but I'm curious if this came up in any of your coaching. So the guy was like, yeah, we're sending the quotes via email. And Hormozy was like, stop. Like literally just, and I specifically remember that, but I don't remember where the conversation went after that. I drifted off.
Yeah.
Was there any coaching about in-person estimating and any value to having like printed off checklists or sheets? Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, 100%. You need to know your pricing and be good enough at pricing that you can do an in-person and give them the number right then and there. Otherwise, in my opinion, you're wasting your time and theirs, and you're just giving them a reason to ghost you. Now, where the misunderstanding happens there sometimes is you still have to qualify people before you drive an hour to their house. You still have to have some kind of quick script to qualify, are they in the ballpark? And you need to have pricing in some range or form on your website. You need to have pricing in some range or form on that initial call, so that if they think this is $500 and it's actually $5,000, then you don't want to waste your time. Maybe educate them a little bit and see, you'll have to pry a little more there. But if you tell them like, hey, an average project of this size could run anywhere between 3,000 and 8,000, depending on what you need. If that's in the ballpark for you, I'd love to come and give you a legitimate estimate and talk about what would be the best for your property. So if you get that, that's the person you go talk to in person. But yes, you need to be giving the estimate there. Don't just text the estimate or email it and just hope they're going to hit accept one day,
Okay. How about pricing? What are you seeing across the board as a general rule of thumb for pricing for land clearing services?
So I have my most famous video is on this exact question, and I have a pricing document that I made from what all these guys have told me, plus market data and everything I've seen, because there is no straight answer, right? You can't just say, oh yeah, charge $2,000 a day or charge $5,000 an acre. There's way too many variables, like terrain, trees, tree size, density, weather, distance, what's your machine capable of, how many machines do you have. And so I prefer to price by the job. That protects you the most in terms of your profit, in my opinion. There are exceptions, right? Like if you get some job that you have no clue how, like some commercial job where the machine's going to be there for 6 months, it may be hard to really nail that down. So you may end up making some kind of contractual agreement where it's like, any day my machine's working on this commercial property, I want it to make $3,000, and you just invoice that way. But that's a less common circumstance unless that's all you do. It's right away or something like that. But pricing by the job, I think, is the best. But you have to actually know your costs. You have to know what it costs you to operate. And so internally, you need to know your minimum hourly to make good profit and your minimum a day to make good profit. And then I would always price, healthy amount over that, because weather could happen, breakdowns could happen, lots of things could happen. So you want to protect that profit. That being said, once I give all those disclosures, On the mulching side, it range between like 2,000 and 2,500 a day for the smaller machines, and then like 3 to 4,000 a day on the bigger machines seems to be kind of the sweet spot. When it comes to full clearing, it gets a, a lot more expensive really quickly, really depending on how you have to get that material out of there. Are you just going to be able to pile it up? Do you have to pull every stump up? Do you have to haul it off? Do you have to like log it? Or can you just burn it? Are you going to bring this giant chipper there and mulch it all up? Some of those things are cheaper than others, but they still take a lot of time. Like people, I hear them all the time, like, oh, we'll just pile it up and burn it. If you burn a 5,000 square foot pile of trees, it's not just going to burn. You're going to have to sit there with it for a while. So there's time you're eating up there. So there's lots of factors. Once you go to the full clearing side, it can get up to $15,000 an acre, depending on the trees. I've seen more. So that one is a lot more variable. That being said, I have this argument in the comments all the time because guys are like, oh, I can't get any more than 1,500 an acre in my area, and everybody's cutting me down. And it's not that black and white. There's way too many variables.
Do you see your top 25% or your ideal customer avatar pricing by the job or pricing by the day?
It's about 50-50. Lots of guys just like to text out there, hey, I'm 3,000 a day, 500 mobilization.
And they're doing that on the phone in the pre-qualification.
Yeah. And sometimes I wish they didn't, but there are arguably on the defense of that side, there are property owners, smart property owners who have learned this and they're used to that. And so they'll be like, okay, I've got 1,000 acres. I want you to come out and I've got 10 grand. So whatever you can do in 3 or 4 days with that 10 grand, go ahead and do it. And then usually what happens is they see how much got done and they're like, okay, what's another 10 grand get me? So there are people where that will work. But the gross majority pricing by the job, I think, is the best way for you and them.
And I was talking about, as an operator, like I love sales and marketing. Man, I geek out on like efficiency in the operations too. And fortunately, we have a great team here. And I'm not super involved with the day-to-day at this point. My focus is on the marketing. But I still absolutely love efficiency. Yeah. And whenever we built our sales or our marketing and our estimating and our sales process, it was very apparent to me that we needed to be pricing by the job. Mm-hmm. Because if we're out there pricing by the day, and I'm not saying we haven't done it before, the toughest thing about pricing by the day that I have seen from the day to day is that your clients, sometimes it's like, if they're paying you by the day, they're thinking, if you're not there at 8 and if you're not leaving after the 5 p.m. clock, then you've done them a disservice, right? Yeah. So in their mind, you're creating this subconscious belief that you are just their in-house laborers for that day, and they think that they have you by the balls. Yep. And if you get done with the scope of work that you initially talked about in the site visit in 6 hours, they're like, well, I got firewood over there. You mind to have your crew go, move that away? And it's like, we're fire mitigation operators. We got a process, and so like, that's why I stray away from that as much as I possibly can. And then the second reason is it doesn't give you any incentive as an operator to be efficient, right? The goal in business and the fun part about it, at least for me as an entrepreneur, is like, okay, I think that our crew can move at this rate on 4 days or 8 days on this property. Like, we're making our best guess. That's why it's called an estimate, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm also giving the client confidence that, hey, I know my crew well enough and I know our machines well enough that we can move through this in 8 days. Yeah. So this job is going to be, 44 grand. We will 100% knock this job out with that, no questions asked. And I believe that it increases close rate because your customer knows at least what they're dealing with.
Yep.
It does bring more complexities in there on the estimating process because you have to get super crystal clear with the scope of work, right? When you're agreeing to a set price and a set scope of work, it's more important to really get clear on, using ribbon marking. We use Onyx maps, which, by the way, sorry to get off on this tangent, but I did talk to the Onyx team, and they are, I don't know if they want me to share this or not, but they've told me that they are considering building out specifically for land service businesses. Because I already use my hunting app. Yeah, I already use my hunting app, and all our guys are on our profile just to use property boundaries. We use the pins. We add photos. We mark up notes. We calculate area, acreage with the tools inside Onyx. It's a sweet tool. I don't know. It's less than $100 for the year.
Yeah, that's a good deal
for the hunt app. And yeah, it's a great tool. So we use that in our estimating where we take screenshots, put those into Jobber, and then when the client signs that estimate, they're agreeing to the scope of work that we have on the photos and on the maps drawn up. Long story short, I see that boosts our conversion rate versus trying to pitch a day rate. I think there's so much confusion in the customer where they're like, wait, you're going to charge me $4 grand a day and you think you can get done in 3 days, but it may take 6. That customer is like, dude, we're talking, 12 versus 24 grand. That's a big deal to some clients.
Yes.
So,
and you're training your clients. You're training your client to come back at you later. And I love that you brought that up because I see this all the time, guys. They'll text somebody, "Oh, we're 2,500 for 8 hours of mulching." I'm like, why would you ever say that? Number one, you're capping yourself. That means, okay, if they only want 1 day, you cannot make more than $2,500 now. If you wanted to charge $3 grand, you can't because you said 2,500 for 8 hours. And then, like you said, well, if you get there and a 1 hour is unloading the machine, fueling up, getting ready, and then at lunchtime you're running fuel, and you're going to have clients then who will say, well, you didn't do 8 hours of mulching. And so, yeah, I would always steer away from that for that reason. And then also the capping yourself. You can't up your profit if you're charging that way. And also, this goes back to the ideal client avatar because the better clients value time over money. And I to think of two things with this in adjacent industries would be like roofing and pools. They're both mega high ticket. But if a roofing or a pool company came in and they're like, hey, your pool's 100 grand, we can have it done in 24 hours, like 1 day. Versus the next guy is like 75 grand, but it's going to take him a month. Me, I'm paying to have the thing done in 1 day. And the best clients are the same way. I've experienced this on both sides. They value time over money. And so those smart, high-level people who can afford your services that you want to be working for, they will reward you for efficiency, not punish you.
So that's ultimate. When I started that soapbox rant, it was like, that's ultimately where I wanted to end up. So thank you for bringing back to that. As an operator, there's no incentive to be efficient if you're just doing by the day, right? You may as well just show up and work by the hour, right? That, I don't know about y'all, but that doesn't excite me. I get real excited about sending a $26,000 quote that it's going to take us, 4 to 5 days, and then we crush that in 2.5. That's how you add profit to the bottom line of your business. And there will be people probably in the comments who are like, is that even? It's like, that's right. Your goal is to estimate and then get it done as efficiently as you possibly can. And the reward as an operator is for building the most efficient crew and system possible. That's the whole game on entrepreneurship right there.
And that's the sweet spot all around. I love that you said that because it just reminded me of a gentleman, Rodney. I just talked to him 2 days ago. He was like so on the ball. He has a call with us while he's at the job site, which I usually don't like, but he's just a hustler. And it's a $36,000 job. And he quoted it like that at $36,000. He brought in five machines, and finished the job by noon. And at noon, all he was doing was finish like lining up trucks to finish up some haul off. And so while they were hauling off, he was sitting there in the truck on the Zoom with us. And he was like, "Yeah, I just made $36,000 before noon this morning, and I want to sign up for y'all's program. You know, it's less than that, so I've got the money sitting right here. Let's go, let's do it." And he took action, made a decision, and I'm like, that's why this works. Like he's getting his ideal client. He's knocking it out of the park for them, being super efficient. He's being super efficient with our time, gets on a call, understands what it is, understands the value, and says, "Hey, let's do it." Versus, I've had 8 calls with this one gentleman who's just been kicking it around, planning, trying to get ready and make sure he makes a smart decision and does it right. And in that short amount of time that this dude's just been thinking about getting all of this going, guys are making 6 figures, you know? It's like the people who take action always win. Volume negates luck, is what Hormozy always says.
I love it. I love it. All right. So, what are some other things that you've seen about your ideal client avatar? Anything else there before you want to jump into what you've recommended your actual clients do in defining their ideal client avatar?
I do kind of have a revenue level because if you haven't ever made 25, 30, 40,000 a month, then the idea of spending a couple $1,000s on marketing a month, usually it's just not going to resonate with you. There are some guys who understand and they, are ready to jump in, but yeah, majority of the time, being around that level is better. And then of course, guys at your level that have already passed 7 figures, they really understand it. So that's easy. But on the bottom end, really you need to kind of be in that range. Also, I know I can predictably at a bare minimum, I can predictably add at least $100,000 worth of revenue in 4 months. And so that's if you're horrible at sales and you don't get us good content. That's like the bottom end. But that being said, not every company can handle $100,000 more of work in 4 months. So you have to be capable of doing that and being able to fulfill on it. So that's one thing in terms of qualification. So I always ask that, like, hey, bare minimum, if we send you 100 new opportunities in the next 4 months, are you going to be able to close those and fulfill on those? And of course, everybody's going to say yes. A few honest people may say no. But then I say, okay, what have you done in the last 4 months? And if they've done like 2 jobs on the weekends and nights because they still have some other full-time focus, then it's usually like, hey, this is probably not the best fit just yet. But hey, go here and watch some of these videos, reach out to some of these guys who have already done this successfully and maybe build up a little bit. And I would love to talk down the road.
It's a real thing. I told you my constraint whenever we first started working together. And um and look, like I think you would agree with me on this, and you hit this nail on the head. All of this, what I'm about to show, is not. It's not like, okay, work with Jacob, and I don't want to set the wrong expectations with people who are watching this. It's not like, hey, sign up with Jacob in month 1, you're gonna have exactly what. Like, we started working together at a time where like our business was rolling. But what I will say about you guys and your quality and your commitment to this industry has been incredible because like I was just telling you before we jumped online, like working directly with Katie, like she took her best stab at the organic content for fire mitigation, and it was close, right? But I made like a couple messaging tweaks with
Mm-hmm.
her, And after 2 tweaks, she's planning out like weeks 2 and 3 and 4. And like that has been a big pain on my end. One, because the reality is like, and I've tweeted about this before. Early on, it was like Google Business, get that set up. Make sure your website copy is right. Get Google reviews like crazy. And then 4, run Facebook ads. Now, there will be home service people who listen to me on this or hear what I'm about to say. It's like Facebook ads, I'm not convinced work for low ticket services. I think there are other people out there who have figured it out, but they have a really good offer for lower ticket items. I'm confident in Facebook ads for high ticket services, right? Land clearing, driveway grading, landscaping, hardscaping. I know those guys run Facebook ads really well. Tree services, right? You have a high ticket, you're running at 4K a day plus. If you've got an average order value, I like to say 5K or above, like there's no reason you should not be running Facebook ads. My dad has a decorative concrete business. I've been in his ear for the last several years. I'm like, dude, we could blow your business up with this thing. High ticket, high margin, right? My point with this is, and I think you mentioned pool construction, anything high ticket, pour gas on Facebook ads, and you're going to grow the business if you follow some of Jacob's outline. He puts a lot of good YouTube content on there.
For sure. Yeah.
But one thing I want to touch on here is like, okay, inside of this, and like this is the last month. I think we onboarded with you guys a couple months ago.
2.5. Yep.
Yeah. So, this is kind of our metrics. It's just tracking. This is the rolling 30 days. So 43 leads, appointments booked. We're not set up specifically to track here right now, just because my sales guy's doing it his own way and I didn't want to change it. So we're sending more quotes than we're getting leads, which means like we're actually so sometimes we separate our fire mitigation and driveway grading stuff. So by dumping all of our money into the ideal client avatar and saying, okay, scrap everything else. Let's run ads for land clearing, for fire mitigation, right? That's allowing us to get people in the funnel, and then during our site visit process and or after we book a job, we can upsell. So it's like if we see potholes in the driveway, sweet, let's give them a driveway quote.
Exactly.
And this is kind of part of the money models, right? Where it's like if you're on site, if your crew's there, if your equipment's there, what other service can you tack on and upsell to increase LTV?
It looks like your average order value has gone up since we started, which basically means since you've focused in, your average ticket's gone up.
Yeah, and I would even say that, so like this system, whenever I built this custom dashboard in Go High Level, it's only been running since July 14th. So that data, like this data is actually showing a little bit different than Jobber. Jobber's saying our average order value for last 30 days is 13.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah.
So even if we run numbers at this, and the reason why I wanted to break this down for people is like we made this change internally following like Jacob set an example. He's focused on a very specific niche in land clearing. Then he's even refined his focus a step further to have some sort of financial requirements for his ideal clients. And that has led to him growing his business. I think the biggest problem that we have as entrepreneurs, myself included, for the first 3 years was like, you have this scarcity mindset. You think, where is the next cash going to come from? And if I focus on this really specific avatar, then I may not have enough business to come in. But what you have proven is that if you pick that and if you focus and if you go all in and even focus further, that it can pay off big time for you. So I'm taking a page out of your playbook. Once we started working, I'm like, man, I've listened to Hormozy. I've done all this stuff. I just need to freaking do it, right? I need to follow Jacob's advice and just do it. And we did it, and it's working the first couple months. That tweet that I posted yesterday is like, we're literally booked into the third week of January at this point. So now the constraint becomes operations. So I'm on the phone with our chipper dealer, I'm like, well, we're building another crew. We've been running hiring ads, right? Ava HR, AVAHR.com. If you need to hire, got any guys who are listening to this in-home service, that allows you to put a job description and then post it to multiple platforms. So we've been able to fill a crew. We're hiring 4 more guys, two new guys start next week, and then the next 2 start the following week. Now I'm buying more equipment, and we're just eating backlog right now. So I think everybody's big question is like, oh, are you going to shut off ads? And the answer is no, because we're going to keep selling. We're going to keep using the fact that we have a booked out schedule. We're going to collect deposits, cash, and book people into next year. And this is something that, Hormozy talks about in money models too. It's like, how can you collect cash to fund growth of your business and then figure out your constraint? So our constraint was the fact that we have, I got to go buy another $180,000 chipper. Well, what if we could keep running ads, keep selling jobs, right? Booking people on the schedule, grabbing that cash for growth, and then funding, just like Hormozy did with his new locations, instead of going and taking out debt, funding with internal cash, and then just repeating that model over and over.
Exactly. And I will say that is a huge mindset thing, because there is so many guys that want to back off when they're so busy and so backed up, when it's like, hey, why don't we add and grow? And that's another point of one of those like ideal client avatar things is, and I always ask this on the sales call, like, okay, your goal's 50K a month. Great goal, very reasonable. What would it take for you to get to 100K a month? Like, are you willing to do that? Is that something you want? Because if that is, then it just justifies even more what we're trying to do, because I know we can do it. We've done it 10 plus times in the last 2 years, taking people from low 6 figures to 7 figures. And it's because they had the mindset to grow. I can give you a massive amount of opportunity, but if you're not willing to grow to be capable of taking it on, then it's not going to work out, right? So I think that you hit a huge point on mindset there, of being able to do that and not back off, but put more gas on the fire. And then before I forget, I just wanted to go back to one thing you said that was another good mindset of ideal avatar. Is you talked about Katie's first rendition of the organic content and then tweaks. Our best clients give us honest feedback fast and often. That's where it's a partnership, right? Like, yes, we have tons of data points, we have tons of templates, we have tons of things we've seen work. But when we collaborate with you quickly and you give us quick feedback, we give you quick feedback, and it's honest, it's transparent, with the same goal of making more money and doing better work for your clients, that's where we see some of the biggest growth as well. And that, I just think that I couldn't pass up that point on how huge that is.
And here's why. Some people can take feedback and some people can't. On the other side of the equation, some people can give feedback and some people can't. And so what I will say from my end is, like, version 1, that none of us are perfect, right? None of us are. And none of us are going to get it perfect on the first try. But I believe that Jacob has my best interest in mind, or our business best interest in mind. 1, because I do believe he's a genuine person. And 2, I believe he actually cares. But 3, he knows I'm going to continue paying him money if they get it right. And let's not stray around from all that. Like, we're all entrepreneurs. We all like making money, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, I think if you're sitting in my shoes, in the, I don't know if I'm going to, like, I don't know if I'm going to step on any toes. It's like, dude, just tell them exactly what you need. Be very clear with the communication, and then get out of their way. I think there's a very healthy balance there, and I've seen myself get this wrong before. It's like when I try to drive the ship too much, I just piss people off, right? But like in the beginning, you got to be open, and you and your team have been, and I appreciate this. It's like in the beginning, you're open to my feedback as the operator, and as the person with experience in fire mitigation. But like right now, after we get it right, I'm off for the most part, right? I'm checking in. Katie texts review. If any reviews, I review it right there and I text it back over to her. But I guess my point here that I'm trying to make is if you do hire an agency, one, they're not going to solve all your problems. Two, they should help you. But three, you cannot be hesitant about telling them exactly like what you see as boots on the ground. And then once you tell them, get the heck out of their way. Because like sometimes we just break things as a control problem.
100%. 100%. No, those were great points. I thought of something earlier that I feel like I just can't not say, but this one is huge, and I don't know exactly how to battle it across the industry, but collaboration over competition always wins. Always. You should be best friends with your competitors. And all that's going to do is make your whole market better. And then when the big jobs come up where neither of y'all can handle it, you get on it together. And I've seen this win. That's another trait of like the best clients. The best clients, I see them on Snapchat, I see them on Instagram. They get these big 1,000-acre jobs. They're out there together and they're tagging each other and they're like, hey, dream team, versus the guys that are battling each other and not talking or talking trash about each other. Customers don't like that. It doesn't do any good for your market, doesn't do any good for you. Collaboration over competition, that's the business owners that win.
Well, that's the area that I need to level up because I like winning too much. And whenever people come into my backyard, it just turns in. There's nothing that strikes me more, and my team knows it. My team knows.
Healthy competition is good. I'm not saying lay down and let your competition win, but your buddy Zach is a great example of this. He is best friends with his main competitor at the highest level in that tech space, and they talk all the time. Now they're still competing to win and beat each other. You can still do that, but I'm just saying you should be on the same page with them and you should talk to them often. It shouldn't be a weird, like, oh man, there's the bad guy over there. As long as it's a mutual. I mean, sometimes like we have competitors that hate us and I would love to be friends with them, but they don't want to be.
No, I'm with you. And like, I just got to be honest, it's like my competitive nature just comes out, it's like, especially if I lose a job in my service area to a competitor from out of our market, that's when I start getting heated. And that's an area that I've got to work on, right? Because like I go back to football, and dude, I'm still really good friends with one of our biggest competitors. Like we literally used to train together in the summers and throw routes, and they were like our biggest competitor, and we're still good friends to this day. And of course, whenever we lined up across the ball from each other,
it's on.
We want to win, right? And so I think that that's where the healthy competition comes from. It's like, all right, if somebody else is here in my backyard pulling a job or two away from here, how do I make sure that he doesn't get that job in my market? And I'm with you. Like, I am cool with this guy, and we have a good relationship. But it's like, dude, I know where the bread and butter is, and I want the bread and butter. And I think that that's where competition comes in. Is like, if you do have good competitors, it pushes you to become better. Like, how can I and how can we as an internal team either get better at our marketing, get better at our sales, get better at our fulfillment, so that we don't give our competitor the option. And then to your point, like, if you do have that healthy relationship of competition versus collaboration, man, by all means, those big jobs, let's rock and roll.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Great points.
let's see. We've talked about customer avatar. I do want to mention, like, I went through this internally. I went through a bunch of different worksheets, and we've got a free school community for local service business owners, people who listen to the podcast. And I added that in a section called messaging mastery. And so I was just going to run through that here real quick. If anybody is trying to get clear on your customer avatar, go to school.com/ownerops, skool.com/OWNROPS. And there's a section in the classroom where I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different worksheets that one states, one is about market research, one is competitor analysis, one is customer avatar, and then one is messaging, one is offer creation. So I just actually went back through this again to get clear on my customer avatar, and ChatGPT is so awesome to help with this.
Yeah, it helps you with speed to research. One quote that to back up what you just said is sometimes we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. And especially when you get into growing business and entrepreneurship and everything, you read a lot and you get a lot of information, and sometimes more information than you can ever process. And so it's okay to go back and remind yourself. Sometimes you just need to be reminded.
Are there any resources that you've used to identify your client avatar, or do you have any specific videos on your channel that can help people with this?
I definitely have lots of videos talking about this. I would be lying to you if I told you I remember the exact titles between TikTok and YouTube right now. But yeah, I do talk about that quite a bit. I don't think I have a single video that's not talking about land clearing guys and how their business could be better. But I don't remember the specific one that talks about your ideal avatar as a land clearing company. But I do know, without a shadow of a doubt, the best way to talk to them and to get in front of them is social media videos of you talking directly to the camera, talking directly to that person, talking about who they are and who they're not. That is a winner on both sides. Very quick example of this. A guy called me complaining that he was only getting small, like brush pile and backyard jobs. And we've been asking him to make a video for months. And I go to his ad account, and the only video he had provided us that we were using that was pulling in very good lead flow was a video of the skid steer mulching up a little pile of brush in someone's backyard. And I'm like, bro, no wonder this is the only leads you're getting. The only video you gave us is of the exact jobs you're getting that you don't want. If you want a different type of job, talk about it or film a different type of job. It's very simple, but some people are so resistant to it.
It's such a good word. Such a good word. Talking to the camera, call out your ideal customer avatar, and show what type of work you want to do. So if you have that one job that sticks out in your mind, it's great. Get on that job, film it with equipment in the background, do some drone footage. Anything else you want to add there?
Just the mindset of that, like, don't be resistive to it. This, if you don't mind me talking about it for 2 minutes, this is like my biggest battle with clients right now. And I don't know why it's such a battle, but what I keep getting back is like, well, why should I have to do this? What am I paying you guys for? And it's like, dude, if I could do this for you, I would. I promise you, because I would be getting you better results and you would be staying forever. And if there was other ways for us to do it, which I mean, there is, like on Google, you don't really have to worry about it too much. But AI is starting to really take over Google, and you have to pay a lot more depending on the competition in your area to bid against them. But on Facebook, specifically Facebook and Instagram, of course, YouTube and TikTok as well, but mainly Meta, these videos are getting guys 10x more leads for no more money spent. And so I'm like, yeah, I guess you shouldn't have to do it, but this is what we're seeing works. And part of what you're paying us for is for expertise and knowledge in the industry. And what I'm telling you is doing this 5-minute video could, no exaggeration, make you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why are you so resistant to it? And I just can't quite understand it. But some guys still just will not do it. They'll say they don't have the time, which is a lie. They'll say that they don't feel comfortable on camera, all these different excuses. And the guys that are not giving the excuses, I told you at the beginning, we had a record month in terms of results for our clients. And part of that was because we're pushing these videos so hard and people are taking action. Whereas a year ago, we averaged 30 to 40 leads a month. We've got guys getting 30 to 40 leads a week without raising our minimum spend. My minimum spend that I make guys spend has not gone up from last year to this year, but results have doubled, and in some cases way more than doubled, just because of these videos. And I've tried so hard to show all the proof of this, and guys still, one guy doubled his Google ad spend and still won't make the video, and he's complaining that he didn't get double the results. And I'm like, sometimes spending more money is not always the answer. It's doing the right thing that we know works. So that's a soapbox, because I have to have that conversation with guys every day. I hope that anybody listening would take that advice. Don't be afraid. Make the video. You're going to make money.
It is August 30th, 2025, right now at the time of recording this. I can say with confidence, if you are a high-ticket home service business owner, if you sell a service, 5K or more average order value, you have to be on Facebook ads if you want to grow. You have to get on camera. Challenging? Is it weird? Yes. Does it make you nervous? Yes. Join the club, right? Like, I don't think anybody likes, maybe there are like super extroverted people. Despite what some people think, like I'm a big time introvert. And I deeply care. It's funny. You hear a lot of people say like, I don't care what people, I don't really care what people think. I don't really care what people think about it. It's like, no. Like, I've fallen into that trap stating that, but really, I like deeply care what other people are going to think if I get on this camera, right? Like, what are people in my community going to think?
Yes.
What, like, what, are they going to think like, oh, he's just like some cringe, like, is he cringe content creator, And it's like, I mean, at a certain point, I had to answer, do I care about what people think more, or do I care about growing my business more? And having kids like helps with all this, because it makes it all clear. It's like, my ultimate goal is for the roof over my family's head and my family to have food on the table every single day. I can't do the corporate thing. It's just not for me. So I have to do this entrepreneurial thing. And so therefore, if I'm doing the entrepreneurial thing, I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to make sure that that business succeeds. And if it means getting over this fear of caring about what other people in my local community or what other friends from high school or college or whatever are going to think if they see me running an ad on Facebook, which is all valid things, at least they went through my head.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're feeling that, like, it's a real thing, join the club. But the reps and the repetitions help get rid of that. And so if you're feeling that fear, my encouragement for you is just do the first thing. And the first thing is, all you have to do, put up your phone, tell the phone what service you offer, the service area that you serve, and a bit about your company. Introduce yourself. Just treat it like you're telling your mom a little bit about your business or your dad. Do it first. It doesn't have to be perfect first. But the point that I'm trying to make here is August 30th, 2025. The most important thing is creative right now. And we're seeing it across the board. Everybody I talk to, talking head videos. Bonus points if you can get your equipment running in the background.
Yes, 100%.
It works. You can grow your business with ads if you do that. Not only with ads, That's the kind of stuff that performs well on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to add? I know that you're trying to get to the river today.
I lost you there for a second. What'd you say?
I said, anything else you want to add on that? I know you are trying to get to the river today.
Yes, sir. Man, there is one more thing I want to say. Well, there's probably more than one thing. I shouldn't say that, but I know we got to be good with our time. Um,
I'm good if you're good.
sometimes guys get in, they really want to work, they really want to do the marketing, and they're not in like your situation where they're up where they need to be, 6-figure months where they have $5,000 to spend. Sometimes guys, making 25K a month, and so spending $5,000 would be taxing on their business. Sometimes they take that risk, but then don't follow the recommendations to be successful. And it's such a hard place to be, because then there's two types of guys. There's guys that take that jump and then they get an insane amount of leads. They take action. Their videos are doing really well. They're out there working and they're like, holy cow, this thing works. How can we do more? That's one guy. And then the other guy, they don't take it serious. They don't follow recommendations. They don't take time. They make excuses. And then a month later, they're saying, oh man, I've spent $5,000 and I didn't get anything from this. This just isn't right for me. This doesn't work for me. And it's like, dude, you have got, if you're going to invest in something, you have to be willing to take action. And that's the minority. So my soapbox here is, I said that's the minority. That's the majority, it seems like. My soapbox is, one, take action. Two, if you're going to pay somebody, follow the program, take the recommendations. Full disclosure, I recently went to acquisition.com. It costs $100,000 to sit at the table with Alex at the time that I went. And when you go back for like a subsequent day to do tactical stuff, they had given me 7 critical tasks to do from May to July. I did 6 of those critical tasks, and number 7 was like in the works. It wasn't like a flip of a switch. They were blown away. They were blown away that I had done the critical tasks and had improvement in my business, and I sat in the room with other folks who also spent $100,000 and had not done one thing and had a load full of excuses. And these are companies that are like at 30 million. And so the reason I bring up that comparison is the guys, like for me, I took a huge risk spending that amount of money because it wasn't a arbitrary number for the amount of money that I make. But I'm not going to go spend $100,000 and not do exactly what they told me to do. It's like, why would you ever do that? But that was the norm. Like, they were so surprised that I had followed what they told me to do and it worked. Like, wow. But then all these other people in the room were like, oh yeah, I haven't really, I'm in planning mode. I've got my team working on maybe this or that. And then, nothing had changed. And part of me is like, well, they're not taking it serious because they're making $30 million a year and that wasn't a big jump for them. So there's 2 types of people again. And like, you're a good example where, this level of marketing makes a lot of sense for you. And it wasn't a massive risk, I would assume, but you took it and ran with it. And now you're getting great reward from it. Well, when somebody is making less revenue and they invest in something like us and they take the recommendation, it goes really well and they give quick feedback loops. But if they don't, I just cannot understand. I cannot understand it. That was a long form example, but if you're going to invest in something or take a risk to invest in something, take action, take the recommendations, make it happen.
I love it. Something that's been pressing lately that I'll add on to that is if you're and something's not going right in your business, it's not your employee's fault. It's not the agency's fault. It's not the software's fault. It's your fault.
100%.
The quicker you understand that, the quicker you take responsibility for the fact that if you're the leader or if you're the one writing the checks and something's not happening right in your business and you own the mistakes or you own whatever's not going right and you put a plan to go fix it. Something Sam also, he's a roofing guy. They did about 30 million last year, and every year he's doubled his business. So his goal is 60 this year. I don't want to butcher his quote. So Sam, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry if I butchered it. But what resonated with me was quick to fix problems, patient for growth.
Yes.
Like when you find out there's a problem in your business, like you have to like be a maniac about going and fixing that and making sure that if it happens once, that it doesn't happen again. We have a saying inside our business. First time's a learning lesson, second time's a mistake. Don't let mistakes happen.
Yes, big time.
So take ownership, own up. If you're paying an agency right now and you're not getting results, at the end of the day, it's your fault, right?
Yep, that's the best outlook. The best outlook. Take responsibility for everything. Your life will be easier and you will get farther faster.
Farther faster. I love it. Okay, Jacob, where can people find you if they're a land clearing contractor? I'm going to try to repeat your ideal avatar. At least 2 machines, doing at least 30K a month in revenue? Or is that on the low side?
That's on the low. Yeah, that's fine. You have to be willing to invest a good chunk, 10 to 20%. But if you have the mindset, the machines, if you have 2 machines and you're doing 30K, you have room to do more. 1 machine, 30K, you're getting close. You better be willing to get another machine.
Where can people find you if they are land clearing options, looking to grow?
So if you type in land clearing growth anywhere, you'll find us. But our website is riseonlineads.com. And our landing page to kind of get into the system to watch videos and get a call with us is growth.riseonlineads.com.
Listeners, thanks for listening to another episode. We're doing live streams now, but I'm going to publish this on the podcast. So thank you for listening to another episode of the Owner Ops Podcast, where we talk all about growing local service-based businesses. If you listen to the first 2 seasons, we had people on. If you're listening now at the time of this episode publishing, you're likely going to get more content related to the focus, right? I'm challenging myself, what we just talked about in this episode, to focus. And so with that comes a focus on how we plan to grow. And the conversations that we're going to have on this podcast are going to be with people who have made that business as well. So Jacob has agreed to come on here more regularly, and you're likely going to get more content related to growing land clearing, fire mitigation businesses. Fire mitigation, in my case, for those of you who aren't familiar with the industry, it's essentially land clearing just tailored toward reducing wildfire risk. Jacob services a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, Midwest people in the South, some people in the Northeast, primarily South, Southeast, and Midwest, right? Talking about
Yes.
land clearing as a service specifically for just reducing underbrush and yeah, you're going to get more content related to this. So appreciate you guys listening. We'll continue to publish episodes every Friday.
Thank you.
We're recording these live streams on Saturday mornings right now. And thanks again for listening. We'll see you guys in the next week. Don't forget, work hard, do your best, never settle for less.